Hello there. How are you?
Back. I'm good. We're back for another episode of Neurodivergent Convergence. So we have some fun planned as per usual. And then we're gonna get into our topic today, which is masking. And so that'll be fun, but it's probably gonna be a short and sweet one because poor Miss Amanda has had the no sleeps and I don't have a brain that functions well today. So I've already had a meltdown. It's been a day. I'm tired of being stuck in the house. What, a week and a day at this point, out from my surgery, and I'm already going batshit bananas crazy that I can't get in my car and drive around and go do things. I am the stuck in the house. So, which does not do. I don't do well with that.
No, it's my dream, her nightmare. So,
Yes. That is a literal fucking perfect thing to describe the both of us. Like, you get stuck in your house for 6 weeks, and for 3 to possibly 4 of those weeks, you can't drive anywhere by yourself. And Amanda's like, fucking sign me up, man. Like, we're here for
yep,
that.
I'm in.
You're like, yes, please. I'm here. And I'm like, mother of fuck, how do I survive this? Like, what do I need to survive this? Because I don't know. This might possibly kill me. Like, this might actually unalive me at this point. Like, I don't know that
Or
I
just
should.
make you go insane.
Right. Or I'm
Hmm.
not gonna have a fucking brain left by the time we're done. But anyway, how was your day? Good?
Just long. Like I said, I got about 2 to 3 hours of sleep. So, just had a lot of thoughts. Couldn't get to sleep last night. And then I did cry. I also had a mini meltdown. I did cry at my desk at work because I thought someone was mad at me. They weren't. My anxiety just made me think that they were. And so that and I thought I had to do something I really didn't want to do and just combined with other things of being overwhelmed at work that just ended up crying at work. So
Yep.
there's
Meltdown.
that.
So it was a mean brain meltdown day for both of us, it sounds like.
Yes,
Okay,
for sure.
so let's try to inject this mean brain meltdown day with a little bit of fun. Okay. So we have two things that we're gonna do on these episodes. We're gonna do one Mad Lib and an AI story. So this time Amanda's gonna read our AI story, and I'm gonna do like the Mad Lib. She's gonna give the answers for the Mad Lib, but like I'm going to be taking down the answers and then reading it. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So the AI story.
Yes. So let's explain to the people
Okay.
real quick how we came up with this. So there are story generators online where like you can type in a prompt, right? And then if you just keep hitting buttons, it'll keep generating bullshit until you have a fucked up story. And that's what we have for you today. So without further ado, take it away, Aminder.
Do you want me to read the prompt?
Yes.
Okay. So the prompt is: it was a day like any other day. Nikki on the couch and Amanda in her chair. The two friends sat watching YouTube as they always did together. AI says, I was not sure if the creature was the same one from before or if it had been changed. There was something different about it, like a new face, a new body, or a different skin color. I didn't know how long I sat there watching. Maybe an hour or so. Then it started to growl and I had to move. I had never seen one of these before, not on a TV show or anything, just I had never seen one before. So I stood up and went to the kitchen. As I opened the refrigerator, I looked down and saw the face of a woman. She was holding an apple in one hand while she was using the other one to hold the apple up. Then the woman put the two together, the apples and the hand holding them, into one face, like a puzzle. There was an expression of shock, a kind of horror that made me feel as if I were being watched. A kind that said, I'm going crazy. She put it down and looked at me as she said, What? I said nothing. You are. You're not normal. And then she put her other hand on her face. She had no mouth, no teeth, nothing but a small, flat, round head. A face that was like the inside of a balloon. She was still holding the fruit. Her eyes were wide open, staring at me with a look of pure hatred. Or maybe it was just fear. She looked like a cartoon version of an alien, except for her eyes. You are the last of your kind, my friend, the only one left. You are a freak, a monster. We're going after you. We have to. If we don't, there will be more of you. You are a threat, she said. A threat? What kind? I asked. That kind, I'm afraid. Of what? She asked, her voice rising to a shriek. Of the world. Do you think you can get away with it? The face in the suit, the eyes, that's what they're for. To see if you have what it takes to survive. That's why they were sent to Earth, to test the people. So they could find out if they have the strength to resist. If they are strong enough, then they can resist, she said. You can see it now, right? She added, pointing at me with her apple. Yes, that's it, she screamed. No, no way. You're going mad, you said back to her. Well, if that is what she's doing, then I don't care. She's got to stop. I didn't want to hear any more. My head was throbbing. My body was on fire. The world was spinning. I had the devil inside my head, and I needed to see it now. I wanted to run. The end.
What in the actual fever dream was that?
This is the kind of shit I would dream. Because
Right.
my dreams are horror shows. This is why I don't watch horror movies. Because this is the shit my brain thinks up. My
A bitch
lord.
in a fridge holding up
What
her
an
just
apple.
the face, but then the face now has hands, and she's got an apple in one hand, and she's holding the hand the apple is
Wait,
in. I'm confused.
yes. That's
And
what I was like, how
now,
many hands does this woman have?
and now we are
She has no mouth.
somehow, yeah, like now we're somehow some thing that was brought here to test the people, but we're the last of our kind. But if we're the last of our kind, where's the people?
Or is she the last of her kind?
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
There wasn't really a lot of quotes around
Yeah.
things, so I'm like, who's saying what?
Yeah, logic was
But
missed heavily.
that that was hilarious. I
That
liked
was
it.
fun. The lady holding an apple, holding a hand, holding an apple. That's a lot.
With no mouth,
With no mouth
no teeth,
and no teeth.
but was
Nothing
screaming
but a
at me,
flat round
apparently.
face, like the inside of a balloon.
Yep. But like an alien, except for the eyes.
I think that's my new insult. Your face is like the inside of a balloon. Whatever the
And then
fuck
the
that
person that you
means.
said that to goes, what? You're
Yeah,
like, yeah, you know what I said.
yeah,
I
you
said
know
what
what
I
I
said.
meant. Oh shit. Okay, well, moving on. I have Mad Libs. These are the actual Mad Libs, like actual 90s
Name brand.
name brand Mad Libs, and I found them on Amazon, and it's all 90s themed, which
Oh,
makes
I
my
like it.
heart happy because I am 90s baby and I love.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a smaller book of Mad Libs. So, what I'm going to do here is I am going to read to you the titles of all of these, okay? And then you're going to pick what you think you would like to do. So, we have cutting edge technology,
Mm-hmm.
as if, dial up drama, the
Oh,
notorious RBG, greetings from Seattle. That seems boring. Don't mess
yeah.
with the dream team.
Nah.
Clone Wars.
Oh, that's Star Wars.
Television Gold. Caring for your digital pet.
Oh, I had a Tamagotchi that I got in trouble with in first grade. Maybe we should
Same.
do that one.
Mine died all the time. Okay, that's definitely
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely in there. Okay, we only have a couple left though. The Boys in the Band, Rap
Okay.
Feud. Oh no. That's a very short one, which means it's probably gonna be really fucking funny. And then the real world and
Oh yeah.
Game On, a
Oh,
birthday,
see, I'm a gamer. I like Game
yes,
On.
a birthday wish list, Girl
Mm-hmm.
Power, Blades of
Yeah, that
Glory,
one too.
Music Festival checklist. We weren't old enough for those. Precious
No.
Beans.
My beans.
Give my regards to Broadway, which I think would be a really fun one to do with Zach and Scott.
Yes. And Granger.
Yeah. And then this one, I'm going to see if someone else wants to do with me just because of the title. So it's called A Bewitching a bewitching invitation, but I'm going to ask somebody else to do that with me because I have the perfect person to do that with. And then
So do
Y2K
you want
prep
me to
list.
pick one?
Yeah, Y2K.
Oh, Y2K prep.
That's what you want
I
to do?
just watched some episode. Yeah, I just watched some episodes of Last of Us, which I made the mistake of watching the third episode of Last of Us right before this. And of course, I absolutely bawled my eyes out
Oh no.
when I originally watched it. And then why I decided to watch a reaction video where then I can also bawl my eyes out
Oh
again.
no.
So anyway, there was a prepper in that episode, and so that's what made me think of it.
Okay. Well, Y2K prep list it is.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready? Plural noun.
Gargoyles.
Ooh. Noun.
I'm looking around my house.
Think of 90s things.
Mind these things. Furby.
Yeah, Furby. Okay, another noun.
Sky dancer.
That's the fairy things that you like,
They
right?
spin.
They spin.
Yeah,
Oh, I love those. I love
made a
those
whole
so much.
that whole cartoon and everything.
Yeah. Okay, verb.
Uh, skateboard. Skateboarding was real, or no, rollerblade. Rollerblade, because rollerblading was really big in the 90s.
Girl, I got down with some rollerblades. Okay. Couldn't skate to save my life, but I could rollerblade like a motherfucker. All right. Number
Let's do 2000. Y2K.
2000. Type of liquid.
Pepsi Clear.
Oh, girl. Pepsi Clear. Okay, letter of the alphabet.
X.
X. Plural noun.
Jenkos.
Jankos. Oh my God. Okay, noun.
Jelly shoe.
Oh, jellies. The shoes that you had to have, but your feet fucking hated you for.
And they stunk when you
Oh,
wore them.
God, they
And you
did.
got all sorts of dirt in them because, you weren't cool if you wore socks with them. So
Yes.
dirt got everywhere.
Yes. And then your poor feet were blistered all to hell.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I need a type of food, plural, but times two. So there's two of the same. I need two different types of food, plural.
Dunkaroos.
Oh my God.
Fruit by the foot.
Fruit by the foot.
Fruits by the
It's gonna-
feet. I
Fruit
don't
by
know
the
what the
feet.
plural would be. Yes.
With
So
your jelly
fruits by the feet.
shoes.
Yep.
Okay. Article of clothing, plural.
Oh, I already named two. Uh, propeller hat. I don't know if it's a truly 90s thing, but I had one.
Color hats. Okay. Verb.
Scintillate.
What? Scintillate.
S Scintillate. SCI N T. Oh, I gotta spell it out. Hold on. I know what it means.
I don't
Okay.
even know what this word means.
SCIN. It means shine, like shiny. It's to shine.
Oh,
SCINTILLATE.
it means
Scintillate.
to shine?
Yeah, it meant flashes of light or sparkle.
Okay. That's learn something new every day. Noun.
Baseball bat.
Okay.
I have a baseball bat by my door. Come at me.
Come at me, bro. Okay, plural noun. And then we're done.
Fireballs.
Fireballs. Oh, okay. Amanda.
Yeah. What?
Okay, we're not even changing it. We're not changing it because this is too meta for my brain right now. Like we're just all gonna die.
Okay.
Okay, we're all gonna die. I don't know how this happened, but
Oh no.
it's bad. It's all bad. Okay. All right, you ready? It's all bad.
Yes.
You're gonna shit. Okay, just wait. I can't. This is gonna be really hard to do. Okay. Okay, compose myself. All right, here we go. Ready? This is the Y2K prep list. In the year 2000, experts predict that all electronic gargoyles will reset to the year 1900. Global blackouts, Furby shortages, and a return to the cancer age will occur. Experts rollerblades all households to stock up on the following: 2,000 gallons of clean drinking Pepsi Clear, 3 working flashlights with double X batteries, candles and waterproof Jankos, a first aid jelly shoes, okay, several cartons of canned Dunkaroos and frozen fruit by the foot, warm blankets and plenty of clean propeller hats, a transistor radio to scintillate other survivors. Okay, here's the crazy one. Are you ready? A baseball bat or a baseball bat to protect against intruders.
You have one of two options.
Baseball bat for the fucking sentence that already had baseball bat in it. How do we do things like that?
And then I also said I have it because by my door.
Right. That's why I was like, oh God. Okay, and then the last one, last but not least, enough board games and fireballs for maybe the rest of your life. Maybe.
Isn't Fireball a drink? Or am I thinking something? Oh, Fireball, or is that Firebomb?
No, Fireball, you're right. It's alcohol.
Yeah, I was like, I don't drink, can you tell? So yeah, see, we see plenty of alcohol.
Yeah, I don't drink that shit. Board games and Fireball apparently is what's going to get you through the end of the world, okay? And a baseball bat.
Drunk board game.
Or a baseball bat for intruders.
No other option.
Waterproof Jankos. Oh my God.
Which, as we all know, Jankos were if you got them wet, it took like 7 years to dry them. So good luck with that.
Somebody finally bitched enough that had enough money and was like, you best waterproof these motherfuckers, because if I got to wear these damn things through the apocalypse, they best be what.
They're catch on everything. There's so much barbed wire around. Like, I'm just thinking apocalyptic landscape.
Oh my God.
It ain't gonna be a good time. Trip wires everywhere.
Oh. And don't forget about that global, Furby shortage we're finna have in the Skydancer age. The age of the Skydancer.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind living. I wouldn't mind living in the world of the Skydancers, I guess.
I wouldn't either. I think that'd be fun as hell. Those were so fun.
Magical place. They were, except unless you hit them into the ceiling fan or a fireplace, then
and then they were no more.
They were no more. Skydancers were dead. It was the end of the Skydancer age.
Okay, hang on. Am I remembering wrong? Or did McDonald's have like a mini version of those as a toy in their Happy Meal? I feel
I'm gonna look it up. I'm pretty sure.
Google it. I swear to God they did. But they were cool, but they didn't quite do what the big ones did.
Yes, they did.
Oh, cool.
Yep. 1997. 1997.
Hell yes. I swear I had little ones at one point, but they only sold them in like the bigger size. Like they weren't huge, but not like the size of a Barbie, but they were pretty big.
Yeah, I just linked it to you, the page.
Let me see.
They were little.
Oh my God, yes! I remember the yellow one. I fucking love it, man. Now I want Skydancers. Can I go be a kid again, please? Can we go back to being a kid?
Yeah.
I can have a Skydancer.
Things were so much easier, especially in the 90s.
But I don't want a Tamagotchi because that thing's really needy and it dies all the time.
Well, I got in trouble because we had like lockers in our classroom in first grade. And I remember my Tamagotchi went off. And so my teacher took it, and then I was like, but my Tamagotchi will die. And basically she's like, I don't care.
It was like, it's a fucking annoying egg that beeps in my classroom. I don't give a fuck about your stupid animal.
And those things look like they pooped and everything, and just and like then they came back, and this next generation thinks they're like, well, look at this big new thing we have. I'm like, nah,
bitch.
Kids.
Do you know what these people are really missing? Do you remember the yak backs?
Okay.
Yes,
and the diary that was a voice activated as well.
Yes, I had both, and I hated the yak backs because when we play hide and seek outside, my cousins would take the yak backs and hang them from fucking trees and make them say shit so you think they were over in the tree and they'd be way somewhere else. And it was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so annoying because you'd be chasing these motherfuckers forever, and they're probably in the house chilling out, and they're just hiding yak backs in the fucking trees, making you run all over the fucking place trying to find them.
I remember when we lived out, like I lived near a elementary school. I remember because they didn't really lock schools back then, that we would just go and play hide and seek in the school, in the empty, dark school.
Stop
And
it.
that's where we would, yes, at Lincoln School. That's where we would just play. We would go inside the school and just play hide and seek. Granted, usually most of the classrooms were closed, like locked, so we like went around the gym, which also served as the cafeteria. And so, yeah, we just played around there.
Shut up. Really? You just ran around inside
Yeah.
the school and you never got in trouble?
Mhm. No, there's no one there.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I can't believe they just left the whole goddamn school unlocked.
That was back in the day, man. Now you can't even go into a school during the day, like without having to sign in somewhere.
Right. I mean, school was so easy to fucking sneak in and out of back in the day, though, for real. Like,
Yes.
even when people were there, it was easy enough to sneak in and out of.
Yes.
But I didn't
See,
because I
like
was
one hall monitor,
right.
like one hall monitor the entire. But I was one of the kids. I was the good kid, and
Same.
I never like really tattled on people, but I was scared to do anything quote unquote dangerous.
Same. I was more worried about my
Mm-hmm.
mom beating my fucking ass when she found out I did some shit I shouldn't have done.
I have a fear of disappointing people, so
Same.
that's my excuse.
My crippling fear of being a disappointment and a people pleaser
Yep,
is what kept me from
at the
being
same
a
time.
bad kid.
And anxiety. And
Yeah.
anxiety all combined with that.
And rejection sensitive dysphoria that I didn't know I had, which is like, do they hate me? Everyone hates me. They all hate me. I can't do anything wrong or they're going to hate me. Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
I get
Mm-hmm.
it.
For sure.
Okay. So now that we've talked about why we have so many fucking problems, let's talk about masking. And actually, school's quite a good topic to start with that. But so if you don't know what masking is, it's a neurodivergent person's way of shutting down their own wants and needs and their own personality and how they would normally react in a situation to appear socially acceptable or just simply function in the environment that they're in. So, what ends up happening when you have masked for a really long time is that it causes burnout, it causes meltdowns, it causes you to lose a sense of self. But there's this flip side. It's where it's like the society we live in is not really set up for neurodivergent folks. So there's almost this need for it, but also it's really wonderful when you can take your mask off. And we'll talk about unmasking later on and what that looks like. But for me, I think before I was like, I can look back now before I realized that's what was going on with me and see how many times I indeed have masked or have morphed to take on the attributes of the group that I was in so that I would be included. Like, that's been my whole life. Like, that's probably one of the most mind-blowing things about finding out that me not having a sense of identity was because I was masking my entire life and just trying to do what I saw around me so that I could fit in somewhere, all while denying what I really wanted and needed, and not really even knowing what I wanted and needed. It was like a fucking
You're mirroring.
do what?
Mirror, like you were
Yeah,
mirroring
absolutely.
other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so
It's a very empathetic thing too. It's very like probably very deeply rooted in empathy. Because basically you like empathetic people, like I hate when people are like, I have an empath, but it's kind of like you can feel how other people are feeling or how like you can pick up on how people are acting, so that's
right.
you start acting that way. So you're conforming to the people around you.
Right. And well, a lot of, I mean, we could probably get into an entire another topic about that, but like a lot of neurodivergent people are actually incredibly empathetic. Like, they are very good at reading a room. They are very good at picking up on other people's energy and their moods and the energy of a space. And that leads to a lot of masking behavior to make sure that you actually feel like you fit in the space that you're in. or like at work for me. I masked heavily at work when I first started because I don't know if these people are going to like my quirky, weird sense of humor. I don't know if these people are going to have the same interests as me. Like, I have to figure out and assess, like, what kind of folks am I dealing with here and what version of me are they allowed to see? You have to be observant enough to know what is acceptable here and what is not acceptable here. And then that creates a mask.
Mhm.
So, what do you feel like? Do you feel like you have masked a lot over your lifetime? Do you do so anymore, or are you more free with yourself? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
It's kind of both for me because I feel like the job I have now, which I've had for over 4 years at this point, like I probably mask a lot more at this job than I would. Like I worked at Barnes and Noble before. I work more in a professional setting now. I work at a financial institution. So I have to be more professional. And so I do mask a lot more, which creates a lot of burnout, which leads to me, crying at my desk at work. I cried a lot more at this job than I have any other job. And like when I worked at Barnes and Noble, because I worked with a lot of the same people, like nerds like me, we were kind of all weird, then I could feel like I'd be more myself at that job. Same with the movie theater. The problem is like, so my thing, the movie theater is like I did mask a lot. Like I was the best membership seller, or at least top two. Me and this other person always switch back and forth. And I hate sales. So the fact that I could actually sell memberships, and I could do that just by being open and honest with people, because I hate lying. Like I hate lying. Like I hate how like sales tactics. But I actually lost partly lost my job at the theater, probably because of like neurodivergent issues. Like I got overwhelmed. I was towards the end of like a 12-hour shift, and I would had been sick, like sick to my stomach the day before, and I not yelled, but like talked really loudly to a customer, and then I was fired the next day. I think it was Valentine's Day on a Friday at a movie theater. So I had to stop. I didn't mask good enough at that point. So I've gotten better at masking, but then I've also gotten to the point where I'm more accepting of who I am. I'm more open and honest with people. Like the whole like texture food thing. Like whenever I just never told anybody really like what type of foods I like. People just saw me as picky. It's like, oh, all she eats is mac and cheese and pizza and all that. But now I'm just more honest. It's like, well, I really don't want to eat that because I just hate the texture of it. So I'm more honest about that, but I still mask around people. Like I still mask around friends. Like there are just friend groups I have that I feel like I can't be completely myself, which is not really a bad thing in my opinion. Like that's just how I am. I think people act differently with whoever they're with. So I think even, you know, neurotypical people do that too. Probably act this differently depending on who they're with. So I do still mask a lot, like I said, but I've been more open. Like I've gotten to the point at my job now where I'll be more honest. Like before when I started, like kept to myself a lot more. I didn't really talk to people because I didn't know how people would act with me, and I just kind of held a lot of things in, which gave me a lot of burnout.
I feel like you made a lot of good points there. Like, I feel like so many people look at this, or at least the conversations I've heard around masking, they look at it as such a negative thing. And while it does have consequences, I do think it's almost necessary
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Like, do you feel like that? Like, do you feel like if
It's
you,
like a camouflage.
yeah,
It's like a
like if I
camouflage,
wasn't
really.
able to mask, I don't think I'd be able to be successful in a lot of different places.
Well, well, even like okay, so right before you invited me to this call, a friend of mine, I'm not gonna name them, but I'm really just read this, and it just made me think of what we were about to talk about. They said more stats about autistic adults. 85% are unemployed, which to me I was like, really? I said, from the testimonials I've been finding for the remaining 15%, we have meltdowns most every day at work or once we get home. Results in extremely low productivity outside of work due to needed recharge efforts. These are reflective of my personal experience as well. So to the rest of my community, you're doing plenty. Don't be hard on yourselves. Cut yourself as much slack as you can afford to. Like you said, masking is it's like, it's like a camouflage where you're kind of almost necessary. It's like our armor, basically. Like if I had a meltdown every time something made me upset at work, like I would have lost so many jobs at this point.
Right.
Most of my jobs I've had either like the movie theater was 2.5 years. Then Barnes and Noble, I worked there for 4 years. Here at this place, I'm here for 4 years. So if I had as many meltdowns as I want to have, I would be long gone from a bunch of these jobs already and go
Right.
through a lot more jobs.
It sucks that we have to learn how to suppress things about us that make other people uncomfortable. But I feel like in the society that we live in, because I'm a very realistic person, should there be more accommodations for neurodivergent adults in the workplace and in the world, period? Absolutely. Is that a reality? No. There are skills you have to learn in order to function in a world that is not set up for you. While we are right now, we have to do that. So, like, it's actually an important skill to learn. But, like that post said, like whatever you said, your friend just said, it fucking takes its toll. It is so draining to have to be what I call on all the time, right? Where you're so
Mm-hmm.
conscious of your next sentence, your next action, rehearsing things in your head to make sure that you didn't say it wrong, especially in like I work with the general public. I work at a salon supply, so it's not like Walmart. Like a lot of our customers are the repeat people. We see them all the time. Very few Karens. So like I'm very happy in that regard, but I still have to sell. I still have to interact with people. I still have to small talk, which literally takes years off of my life every time I have to small talk. I swear to God, it does. Like it,
Agreed.
I
Agreed.
grow gray hairs every time I have to have a small talk conversation, but it's part of my job. So
Mm-hmm.
by the time I get home, like you said, like you were saying, it's difficult for me to do much else. When I've worked 6, 7, 8 hours, I'm fucking spent. Like it's very difficult for me to interact with people in my home. I don't get to take the mask off as often anymore as I would like to. However, I will say something that I am very lucky about is that for the most part, I unmask around my coworkers. My coworkers, for the most part, can handle me unmasked. Like I get to show a little bit more of who I am, most especially with my boss, which is very fucking rare. Like you just don't find that. Like that's the person you'd think you would be masking the most around. With my boss,
Mm-hmm.
we're very similar, like very similar people. And she thinks I'm funny as hell when I'm off the with when I'm off my rocker. We had a sale day one time and we had been there for 12 fucking hours because it was a 1 day sale and we had all of these orders we had to ring out and only one fucking cash register to do it with. And so we were there for over 12 hours. And by the end of that shift, I was so fucking loopy. I was reciting Billy Madison and just being stupid. And I feel like from that point on, that
Stop
was
looking at
very,
me, Schwan.
you don't stop looking at me, Schwan. Yeah. So, and the whole like clown song, hey kids, it's me. I bet you thought that I was dead. Like I did the whole thing, right? Like the whole thing. If you've never seen, I literally know every word to that movie, like every fucking word to this day. Haven't watched it in years, but I can still recite it. And after that night, when I saw that they were cool with me acting stupid, I was like, oh, okay, I'm safe to unmask a little bit here. But like my point is, I'm a little safer around my coworkers than I think the normal people would be that would work in an environment like I work in.
That was my boss at Barnes and Noble. Nikki will tell you I don't like people. I am anxious as hell, but I am able to just be genuine and sell things. And so without like bullshitting them, without lying, because I would feel bad. My
Right.
anxiety would make me feel bad if I lied to somebody to sell them something. But my boss, like at Barnes and Noble, like he just got me. He knew that he could just leave me alone. Like here's a list of things I want you to do. I'll be in the office if you need me. See you in 5 hours. Okay,
Right.
bye. I'll leave you alone. And
Right.
so just leave me alone to work and do my job. He was sarcastic with me. He could like joke. I remember this is probably the first time I was honest with him, like, and he was a store manager. And then I remember, like, here's your performance, blah blah, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's like, anything else? And I got the courage to say, yeah, you kind of intimidate me. And he just goes, good. And then it's like, and it's just from there, it's just I knew I'm like, okay, I can joke with this man because I never like I've seen him joke, but it was almost like like I said, intimidating
Right, right.
to like, will he be okay with me joking with him? Thinking of going to like masters, like get my master's, and so he wrote me like a letter of recommendation. Like he moved to a different store, and I basically followed him to that store. So he was just a manager that got me, and
Yeah.
probably like the only manager I've had that I can like truly have been myself around. And I
Yeah.
even told him because I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I told him it's like I just wish I could bring you everywhere I go to every job because you just get me. You let me be weird and you let me just joke and like we just get each other. So
Yeah.
I totally get it with you and your boss. Like unfortunately I don't really have that now, but like I said, I just mask all day and I just kind of keep to myself for the most part.
Yeah, but I mean, it is exhausting. Like it's a useful skill and it is more prevalent in women. I have read like it is highly more, it's way more prevalent in women that you will find someone masking all day and then melting down at night, like melting down when they get home to their safe space. Because we kind of learn from a young age, like we're a little bit more observant. And I feel like we kind of learn from a young age what's socially acceptable and what's not, especially like in the time that we grew up in, where
Well, we have to be more reserved. We have to be, we have to be women have to be quiet. We have to be more
right,
reserved. Like that's why all it's always the boys that got diagnosed with like ADHD, and it's like,
right,
well, that sort of thing. It's like because it presents differently in girls, and so
right.
that's just she's just shy. She's quiet, and
Yeah, or
so
she's just picky, or she's just
yeah,
gifted. Gifted is another
yeah,
one. You
yep,
hear that a lot. If you were ever called gifted, maybe you should check and see if you are neurodivergent.
yes.
Like for real. Like,
If
because
you were a burnt out adult that was called gifted as a child, you are most likely neurodivergent.
absolutely 100%. Or what was the other one? Shy. Shy. She's too
Yes.
quiet or
Mm-hmm.
she's too sensitive. She's just really sensitive. If someone calls
Yep.
you sensitive all the time, you've heard that your whole life, or things, or you always think people maybe don't like you, or you're incredibly people pleasing, or you feel like you don't know who the fuck you are at age 30, and you're probably neurodivergent. Like go get that looked at because it's a real thing. Like the sense of
Mm-hmm.
identity thing was fucking huge for me. Like when I finally figured out like that was something I never had, like in this whole like 2020 burn my life to the ground and rebuild it thing, I legitimately did not know who the fuck I was. I didn't know what I liked, what I didn't like, what I wanted to do with my life, what direction I was moving. I didn't know anything about myself because I had realized I'd spent my entire life just kind of fitting in wherever I fucking could and trying to be like everybody else and hoping that that would the one something I would stumble into would finally be where I belonged.
And it would click.
Yeah, only to find out like that was never going to happen for me because I was never meant to be a part of a clicky thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was never meant to fit in a box. I am very much out of a box. And going from like the realization of that to the like grieving the loss of never having an identity of my own to now like finding my own identity and knowing what I want and knowing like why all of that happened to me is so it's like better than a year's worth of therapy when you realize that happened to me because I'm fucking autistic. Because I'm fucking autistic and I'm not the only person that's experienced that. Like, I'm not just a complete dipshit who can't figure out how to life. I'm autistic. So, like, that that's why the label matters, right? Like, we're all hung up nowadays on labels. We don't want to have labels for things, and that's fine. A lot of situations that's probably applicable and probably helpful. But in the world of mental health diagnosis and and neurodivergent world, the labels fucking matter. They matter
Mm-hmm.
because they change your life by helping you to understand yourself mostly. But then once you can learn to understand yourself, then you can start helping other people to understand you. I feel like I want to bring it back to the friends group thing that you mentioned earlier. Like you said, there's certain groups of friends that you act differently with than you would other groups of friends. And I feel that to a certain extent, except for I don't have groups of friends. Like I have, I have like 5 people who kind of like me, and that's about it. So, however, I will say that I do sometimes act a little bit different with different people, but for the most part anymore, I feel like I'm pretty solidly me all the time. The first person that I ever really felt like I could completely unmask with, as far as like letting all the weird hang out and all the nerd hang out, is probably you. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
because we very much knew we were the same human, but in different forms from jump, I think. Like we were almost
Even
like a,
before we knew ourselves,
yeah,
it
we're
was
like,
like,
you are
mm-hmm,
very opposite of me, but you're also like very like me at the same time. And we just get each other, and we always have just kind of got
mm-hmm,
each other. And I feel like you were really the first person that I was able to let that deep down ingrained nerdy weirdo out with.
mm-hmm.
And so that's been like, it's been incredibly helpful to have you as a friend. And like I'm very grateful for you for that, because you were that first person that kind of allowed me to completely rip the mask off. And then I kind of only had it off with you for quite some time. And then, like, Lindsay, of course, has seen a lot of things, but like, she's not really a nerd. She's not really like into that stuff. So, like, I don't really talk a lot about that stuff with her. Like, I don't talk about gaming with her. I don't talk about YouTube stuff with her. I can talk about like mom life and stuff with her because you don't have kids and she does. And so, like, that aspect of my life, she sees a lot, and she 100% sees like the real me in all of those aspects. But I don't think I definitely don't think I've ever really nerded out super hard with her, because she's just not a nerd, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
then,
like, which is fine. It's like she has
yeah,
her
totally cool.
interests, and then, mm-hmm,
Yeah, but I feel like that's less of a masking thing and more of a like,
more just an interest,
yeah,
a
like an
mutual
interest
interest
based thing.
thing.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's just relating on things that we can actually have conversations about. She could give a fuck less about a Pokemon game. Do you know what I mean? Like, she just really doesn't care. But she really doesn't care. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like it's just different. I will say, for the 5 people who really kind of like me, I feel like in every aspect, no matter what we relate on, I can be 100% myself. And I think that that's wonderful, but I don't think that everyone has this wonderful safety net of humans that they can 100% be themselves with. And I know that, like, ideally that would be great for everybody, but like, do you feel like you have a decent group of humans where you can just be yourself around them?
I would say it's probably more like a 95% thing. Okay, so I've been friends with you since freshman year of high school. Scott since sixth grade. It's like, yes, I feel like I can be myself the most around both of you, but it's also like, am I too weird for my two best friends? Like, it's also, like I said, it's also the deep-seated anxiety of, if I do or say the wrong thing, these people that I've been friends with for 20 years at this point will no longer like me. I don't know. I just a fear that I have. And so yes, you guys are probably like, the 97% that it's like, but it's like there's like a 3% of me that's like, but you can't go all the way, that sort of thing. And then like I have like I said, another group of friends that like these three guys that I used to game with. We haven't one moved away, and we don't the other two don't really have time anymore. But I can't. I'm like an 80% myself with them. There's just some part of me. It's like, well, you can't be 100% yourself because then people will leave you. Something that needs to be talked about in therapy, I guess. So that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. I just realized we have come up with our next topic for sure for the next episode. we're going to talk about rejection sensitive dysphoria. And I'm going to give you the homework on that one. I
Okay, I'm
want
gonna type it on our list of ideas. Rejection, what? Sensitive, what?
RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria. But yeah, so that's our next topic for sure, because it's a thing, and I think you have it. I think you do. Like, the more I hear you talk, the more I'm like, this girl 100% has that. And you keep saying it's anxiety, and like that's definitely a thing with anxiety, but I feel like yours is way deeper than anxiety. Yours is 100% RSD, and I think the more you look into it, the more you'll see that. But that's a very common thing to have in the neurodivergent community. Like, it's one of the comorbidities that go along with an ADHD diagnosis or an autism diagnosis. Like, it's one of the many cocktails of mental illnesses you can have when you're neurodivergent. We talk about this all the time, our cocktail of mental health problems. I think that's a really good one to go into, because the thing about the 3% that you're worried that these people who you've known for 20 years, if you go all the way, are going to hate you all of a sudden and like not want to talk to you anymore. You know, that's not real. But like deep down in your anxiety and your whatever, you're like, but what if it happens?
My anxiety-ridden soul.
Yes. But what if it happens? But what if it's the little annoying imp of a what if always in your goddamn ear hole and it won't go away? I'm here to tell you, it won't matter because the imp's still going to be talking to you, but I'm here to tell you, I'm okay at a 100% mask off. I'm not going anywhere. You know too much at this point.
I got all the blackmail.
I would have to unalive you if we parted ways. You know fucking too much at this point. Too much do you know to no longer
I'm
be
in too deep
on my good side. So and same with Scott. You've known Scott much longer than you've known me. So I'm pretty sure you're stuck with him for life. You could probably kick his dog and still be around. Not that you would kick his dog because you would feel terrible. But you know what I mean. It's one of those things. Like, we're your people, and you're not ever getting rid of us. Like, I'm probably gonna haunt people with you at this point. We're gonna be those
like a Victorian ghost.
Yes. So, okay. I feel the brain calories leaking from my ear holes. So we can cut it here. This is a great conversation. I'm super happy we had it. I think we touched on a lot of really good topics. And I think next topic is going to be a beefy one, because there's a lot that goes into RSD. And I feel like it's a really good conversation to have for this community to kind of understand that a little more. But thank you for being a 100% mask off friend for me. You make my world happy. You get to see the 100 of me. And
keep it at 100.
Keep it 100, bitch. Keep it 100. Okay, anyway, I love you. The people listening, I might link something about masking in the show notes. Maybe, because I always forget. So we'll see if that happens. Stay tuned next time for.
I tell her to write things down, and then she does.
Yeah, I don't. You know me at this point. That's not gonna fucking happen. So, so thank you for listening again. This has been another episode of the Neurodivergent Convergence with your hosts, me
and me. But I'm also sometimes here.
It was also sometimes here. When we figure it out and we can. And when our brains aren't being mean and allow us to do things like this. Okay, we will catch you all next time. All the podcasty things are in the show notes. Okay, I love you all, and I love you, Minder, and goodbye.
Love you. Bye bye.